Hello, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. Tonight, we are joined by the lovely Angela Bolt.
Hello.
Um, I'm using like a new recording program, and just like 2 seconds ago, I had a panic moment because I was like recording, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, it's not recording. I had like an intrusive thought, and we had started recording already and did an intro, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about this. We have to stop recording and just like play it to make sure it's recording. So for all you girlies out there that have intrusive thoughts, just know you're not alone.
That's totally fine. Take two.
Angela, how was your week?
It was good.
Is good?
Busy. This is a really busy time of year for me, for businesses and for work.
Yeah. And not to mention that you were already doing like a lot. You had like 3 businesses and a regular job, and now you just started a new business, didn't you?
I did. I'm pretty sure this falls somewhere between healthy coping mechanism and self-torture. Some days I feel like it leans a little more towards one than the other, but I started a little over a year and a half my cocktail business, and I recently not pivoted but kind of branched off from that, and I am starting a flavored simple syrup line. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. My website is up. It's siloamsyrups.com, and we have pre-orders going. I started with 3 flavors that I thought would be really nice for the holiday season, and then we'll also stick year-round. One is apple spice, and it's really rich, like apple spice flavors, kind of like an apple pie, very American. The next one I call Not So Vanilla, because it is vanilla, but I use coconut palm sugar, which has like a very caramelly, almost mapley flavor profile to it, as well as bourbon vanilla. And so it's not boring. So I didn't want to just call it vanilla.
It's a good name.
So Not So Vanilla, but it's vanilla. And then the last one is called Rich Auntie, which is a little bit of a personal thing for me. I just feel like it tastes like something that a rich auntie would put in her latte. It's absolutely delicious. It has maple, honey, more palm sugar, raw sugar, because we're fancy. And it's just very decadent. It's delicious. I love it.
I think I already kind of talked about it once on an episode, because I saw on Instagram that you started a new business, and then I went to your website and purchased, and I was I feel very honored, because this has never happened to me before, but I got to be order number 0001, and I was like, Angela, is that real? And I screenshotted it and sent it to her. She's like, yep, you're number 1. And I was like, yes.
We're number 1. We're number 1.
So I went to the website, which is Siloam, spelled SILOAM, syrups, SYRUPS. Yeah, words are hard. I had to ask for help on spelling syrups. Anyway, .com. And I went to it before, and I was reading off the list, and Sasha was like, they're so bougie.
Yeah, I wanted to do something that was very bougie ingredients, but also very approachable. So something that wasn't scary, something that you could taste it and go, oh my gosh, I can think of countless things to put this in. But also something that showed up with unusually high quality ingredients and really great, intense layered flavors. Now, one of the things I've found with simple syrups in the past is vanilla is a really good example. It's just such a light flavor profile. I kind of want something that hits me in the face a little bit. Not that it's going to be overpowering to whatever you put it in, but when I put it in my latte, I want my latte to taste and smell like rich vanilla, right? If I'm using it in baking, same thing. If I'm putting my apple spice simple syrup, I did roasted Brussels sprouts with pecans and cranberries. It was delicious, but those spices really came through, right? It wasn't just a sweet bomb. There was more behind it than that. And that's kind of my goal with all of my syrups, is for that flavor to really be there and show up.
What is your favorite thing to put the vanilla in? Because that's the one I bought.
So I have thus far put it on a cake post-baking. So if you are a baker, if you want to bake something in advance, after a few days, even if you have the moistest cake, it's not going to be as moist as when you pulled it out of the oven. Mix a little bit of my syrup with some hot water, and then you can drizzle it over the top of your cake, and it brings flavor and moisture back to the cake. That's a really good way to do it. I actually go between the 3 syrups in my coffee every morning. I rotate them. And then I've made baked oatmeal, and my sister made granola the other day, and when I stopped by her house, she let me try some, and it was delicious.
I have an idea. I make really good like breakfast power balls.
Ooh.
With like peanut butter and stuff. This is inspiring me. I've been meaning to make them. I get like the like dried peanut butter powder stuff, and then I like just mix it with a bunch of stuff. What else do I put? Like I put like pine nuts in it, and then I remember I put like cocoa nibs, and what else do I put in it? Like just peanut butter, the peanut butter powder. I put like flaxseed in it, because flaxseed, if you didn't know, it can be like a substitute for egg. Yes. It like binds things together, so it kind of helps it to like remain like a ball, like a sticky ball, instead of just like
blob.
Oatmeal. I put oatmeal in it. Anyway, it just like, I don't really follow a recipe or anything. I just kind of like put it all in a bowl and do it. I started doing it whenever I was living with my sister, and she's obsessed with peanut butter like I am, and so we just kind of like, it became a routine. But then when I moved here, I stopped making them. What? I
just thought of something else that I used it for, and I can't believe I left this one out. One of the things that I've been loving with my syrups is on the weekends, we like to make waffles or pancakes at my house. And I will do like 50% syrup of my syrup and 50% maple syrup. So, and I will let, the household pick. Like, do you guys want to do apple spice or should we do vanilla? And, I'll let them select. But it just adds so much more flavor. Like, you don't even need to put cinnamon or anything like that in your pancakes or your waffles, because you're getting it from the syrup.
Interesting. So I don't know if I would do it, because I am a peanut butter person on waffles and pancakes. I mean, I'm not opposed to a syrup, obviously, but
mix it with the peanut butter.
Would it be good, you think?
Yeah. Oh, I made cornbread. I mixed it with my butter. I whipped my butter with a little bit of the syrup.
Of course you whipped butter with syrup. Like, who does that?
Oh, by the way, I am posting recipes on my website. So that cast iron cornbread that I made was the best cornbread I've ever had, and I did make the whipped butter with the syrup.
Something you should know about being friends with Angela, you are never gonna like be able to be as cool as she is at any party or any dinner that you make. You're just not as cool as her. It's not gonna happen.
I appreciate the flattery, but it's not true at all.
I invited her to a party at my house, and she's just like hand squeezing basil and mint or something. And honestly, every time I smell basil now, I just like crave whatever juice she made at that time. I'm like, I actually was thinking about that the other day. I need that in my life. I should ask you to bring it.
I still have basil in my garden, so you should come get some.
We grew it too. Yeah, and our basil plant, that is the thing that is doing the best out of everything that we planted.
Basil does well out here. Yeah, pleasantly surprised.
And did you see when you pulled up in my house? There's like when you pull up to my house, there like my windows in the front. Maybe I shouldn't be describing my house, but I have a window in the front of my house. That like I put all of my plants in, and like it's a west facing window. Oh my gosh, I'm triangulating my location. And so it gets really good sun, and we have like all of our little like kitchen house plants in there, but we also have like one of those like propagator things that you can see all the roots growing down. And we probably should have repotted them at this point, but have not done that.
I want to look on my way out. I did not notice it coming in because I was juggling. I brought ice cream with me, and it was melting all over the place. So I was trying to make sure it didn't melt inside your house. I wasn't really looking around too much.
Yeah. Well, when you go out, you have to.
I'm excited.
Because we got this little thing. They look like potion beakers almost, but you just like put the plants in them, and like we have been avoiding planting them because we just like looking at the roots. Not for any other reason.
It's impressive. You're like, look at them go.
Mm-hmm. Like all we gave you was water. Also, we like put some sweet potatoes and water in the guest room, and we just like watched them grow.
I have a crazy story about potatoes.
Go.
Okay, so I have raised beds in my garden. My soil, being Arkansas, I feel like my house is just on a big rock, to be 100%. And so I decided to do raised beds. At one point in time, I got some garden bags because I thought that would be fun to play around with. And I put potatoes in these garden bags. I was like really into trying out, the growing potato part. And I failed miserably. Like nothing happened. I put these, I made sure that they had their little buds, they had all their little roots going, put them in, covered them with soil. Little shoots came up, covered more soil, just like, Google
everything
said I was
says.
supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of shriveled up and that was it. And I was like, okay, well, that was a loss. No big deal. And so I emptied the bags in my compost and then I ended up putting a raised bed where the bags were.
Mm-hmm.
In that raised bed, I put edible flowers because I use them for my cocktail classes.
Of course you do. Never gonna be cool enough.
And randomly this summer, I had potato shoots coming up in my herb, like my edible flower bed.
Did you dig them up?
Yeah, they were delicious. I have no idea how they got there though. Like I didn't use the soil. Nothing crossed over.
Maybe
and I
like
put
seeds or something fell?
I have a very determined mole in my yard. So I put metal mesh on the bottom so it's not like something fell out of the bag and I put the raised bed on top of it and it came up through somehow.
Potato experts, please weigh in. Send us a message.
I really would love to know.
I don't know, but we planted sweet potatoes.
How's that going?
I don't know. Colton says he's going to dig them up, but I, to tell you the truth, I don't know very much about the garden except for that I walk back there and see the basil and it makes me happy. So he said that he thinks that maybe the potatoes are dead, just like you said. So I was like, oh, maybe we're having bad luck. But we got the potato starters from my sister who lives around here, and she grows so many potatoes that she just puts potatoes under her bed all year round and makes her children eat potatoes with every meal. There's her sweet potatoes.
I love potatoes. I'd be okay with that.
I would be too. But except for my sister, this is going to be embarrassing for her, but whatever. She doesn't listen. She went and got compost from the sewer place. So we call them her potatoes. So in theory, these potatoes should be doing really well. But so we tried planting the potatoes and they didn't like our yard.
And well, okay, so here's the other thing. And again, any experts out there, I am dying to know if these were linked to the potatoes I originally planted, that means it was a full calendar year. Right? Because I put them in last summer and they didn't pop up until this summer. Well, unless there's a potato fairy out there just plopping potatoes in people's gardens.
Could be. Maybe the mole did it.
How?
Did the mole... maybe the mole dug into your potatoes and was the mole fairy.
I don't know. Maybe. I wouldn't put it past him. He's pretty... Although I think it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll go out there and I can see the raised path of where he's been digging. And it's kind of funny because you can see he runs into the raised bed. And it's boink, oh, nope, that didn't work. And he'll go down 6-8 inches and then try again. Boink, oh, nope, still didn't work.
Sucker!
Right? I'm I knew putting that mesh metal on the bottom was a good idea.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder how... Please, potato experts, please tell us. Because I'm stumped.
Yeah, I don't know. But I would love to replicate the problem. Because I love potatoes.
Potatoes is my favorite food. Oh my gosh. When I was in the disco dance-off competition, that I only lasted as long as I did because Angela was at that event and she kept donating to me. 100%. Nobody else was donating.
Friends donate to friends.
They asked us for our intro of this is who your next answer is. And they asked me what my favorite food was. I said potatoes because that literally is my favorite food. They're so versatile. You can do anything with them.
Yeah.
You can make bread.
Yeah.
You can have them as French fries.
Yeah.
You can have hash browns.
Oh.
You can have mashed potatoes. Baked potatoes.
Your husband's twice baked potatoes?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
those are
my
famous, man. Everybody who comes to a party, that's it. Everybody asks that he makes his twice baked potatoes.
You know, and people will say like, "Oh, my famous fill in the blank," and it's always, "Okay, great, cool. Like this is something you really enjoy making, and at least your family really enjoys eating with you." But they were really the best twice baked potatoes I've ever had.
He's the potato king. He can make any kind of potato good.
They were so creamy and smooth.
They're so
delicious.
Good. If you ever come to a party and they're at my house and there's no twice baked potatoes, you're missing out. But also, you should see what he can do with a breakfast burrito, man. Like, there's potatoes in those too.
I believe it. After the twice baked potatoes, if you say Colton has this thing he makes, it's good. I'm all in.
The other thing that he makes so good is, like, I really believe that heaven, the meal that we eat in heaven is Colton's twice baked potatoes. Or not twice baked potatoes, Dutch oven potatoes. So the two reasons that I love camping with Colton the most is Dutch oven potatoes and breakfast burritos. Because he makes breakfast burritos and he preps them all beforehand. Listen, Colton is the star of this podcast. If you haven't picked up on that yet, like, he's the star. Anyway, what he will do is he will make breakfast burritos before we go camping, and he will wrap them in aluminum foil. So it's like got eggs and like sausage and potato and cream cheese. That's the secret. You put cream cheese in it, and then you wrap them up and you put them in tin foil, and then you put them in a bag in the cooler. And then in the morning, when everybody's eyes are crusty and it's cold, you like start a fire, and then you like all the coals are left over from the night before, and then you just like stick it on the coals, and it gets like the tortilla perfectly brown. Oh man, it's the best because it's aluminum foil, so you just like cook it on the fire, dude. Breakfast burritos when you're camping.
I'm not even hungry, but I want that right now. Sounds so good.
And I have a pizza oven at my house, and it just occurred to me like a month ago that we could have been having breakfast burritos in the pizza oven this whole time, and I'm salty because we have not done that, and we've lived here for a year.
Is it an outside or inside pizza oven?
You haven't seen my pizza oven?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You've been holding out on me.
Oh my gosh. Talk about something while I pull up a picture of my pizza oven.
I don't know what to talk. All I can think about is potato burrito pizza. That doesn't even make any sense.
Potato burrito pizza.
I'm so excited. Tell me something so wonderful and then be like, okay, think of something else.
Tell us about what you're doing with this syrup business.
Well, I'm going to be at Homegrown. So if anybody listening has not been to Homegrown in Siloam, it's a lot of fun. It's happening on October 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They close off the streets downtown. They have a ton of vendors, and like the name suggests, everything is homegrown. And yeah, so I'll be there. So you should come check me out.
Look at this picture of my pizza oven.
Oh my gosh. But it's on the covered porch, so you could even use it in the wintertime.
I know.
We need to have a potato pizza oven party.
Potato pizza oven party.
Yeah.
Why didn't we think about that?
I don't know.
We could definitely. Well, that's the thing is we haven't even used our pizza oven because Colton's against it for some reason. I don't understand why. We need to peer pressure Colton to use the pizza oven because I want to do it, but you can't pizza oven solo.
No. Okay, I'll work on him. Anyway. When we leave this room, I'll mention it.
So we're gonna have a potato. First of all, breakfast burritos. And Dutch oven potatoes. We could be making Dutch oven potatoes this whole time. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset.
Don't be upset. just be happy that you're thinking of it now. And that I am your friend and I can enjoy it with you.
Yes, this is going to happen. So we're going to have a Dutch oven potato party and we're going to force Colton to make them.
I'm so down. And if we wait until it gets
crispy outside, yeah,
I will make you, this is no exaggeration, the world's best hot chocolate from scratch.
This is a great idea. I love this.
It's so good.
So the what is it called? This is what we're gonna do for the party. It's gonna be campfire food party. We'll have a party at my house and we'll have it be campfire foods.
Who plays a guitar?
Oh gosh,
We gotta find a friend that plays a guitar so they can play guitar. That's what you do around
my dad plays a guitar, but I don't want my dad. Like, I love my dad, but I don't think he would fit in with my friends.
Okay, well, if you think you would be a good friend,
if you play a guitar and you want to come to this party, please come.
Hit us up. Yeah, we gotta have somebody that plays the guitar, and we have to play games because that's what you do around campfire.
Yes. So last week we had Megan on. Which, did you listen to that episode? It's really hilarious.
I'm almost all the way through it. I think I'm listening to it. I was listening to it at the gym. I listen to the podcast at the gym in the morning when I walk the track.
That is a very grandma in a sweatsuit thing for you to say.
So I'm in my late 30s and I'm fully leaning into this whole 40-year-old woman aesthetic. I don't even care. It's fantastic. I like white wine spritzers, and I prefer going on walks than jogging or doing HIIT cardio.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. I've been on that train since the beginning of time. There's no way I'm doing HIIT cardio.
I'm back to going to bed early and getting up early. And
no, I don't get up early. No, but really though, I've been tested. I make all of my melatonin in the morning.
Wait, how do you get tested for that?
They test your hormones. Have you never been tested for that?
Not for that.
Well, so what you have to do, you have to spit in a tube 4 times a day. And then you mail it off somewhere. And then they tell you what times of day you make specific hormones.
So I did get a Dutch test. Is that the same thing? I got a Dutch test done. Same thing. You have to spit in a tube. And you have to time it at a certain time during your cycle. But that was to test... We didn't test that. We tested testosterone, progesterone.
Yeah.
And
it was
estrogen.
all on the same panel.
Oh, maybe I need to go look at my paperwork again.
Yeah. Maybe the melatonin was extra or something, but I did that, and it was for it, and you had to put it in the fridge and then mail it off, and and you couldn't eat anything an hour.
Oh yeah, it was a pain.
Yeah,
it was very disruptive to my lifestyle. We'll just say
that. Yeah, and you had to wake up and stay up to certain times.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've done that test 2 times, and both times my melatonin came back super high.
Can I tell you my least favorite part of that test? You can't drink hardly any water.
And so what I did, I understand, yes, but the thing that I did in order to make it, because you can't make enough spit if you don't drink water or whatever. And so what I did is I just got leftovers from the night before and just smelled them. So that I made a lot of spit.
That's so smart. I didn't think of that. I just suffered. I suffered and complained mildly. Or not so mildly to anybody that would listen. Well, I was working a job at the time where I was traveling a lot, and you have to do it at ovulation. So I had to test for my ovulation because my hormones were so out of whack. That was part of the problem. So I was constantly testing, and every time I would test that I was ovulating, I was traveling somewhere. I was there's absolutely no way that with my job where I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not getting back to my room until after midnight, that I can go that hard all day long and not drink that amount of water. So I would just push it to the next month. So it took 3 or 4 months before I hit ovulation and I wasn't traveling.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't remember the water thing being that big of a deal.
Well, I also drink anywhere from like half a gallon to a full gallon of water a day. I'm a camel.
I don't drink that much. I actually been trying to drink more water, so I like bought like flavor drops to encourage myself to do it more, and it's been working so far.
To help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I will say, since the theme of your podcast is Saturday Night Sleepover, and I'm assuming mostly women are listening, if there are any women out there that are having health concerns, so some of mine, for example, I felt like I was an insomniac, uncontrollable weight gain and weight loss, really, really tough menstrual cycles, facial hair, ugh, that was the worst, body acne, a whole list of things. And I would go to my regular doctor and they would do a blood panel and it would come back and they say, oh, well, aside from your blood sugar being a little bit high, everything looks great. And so for years, I mean, I'm talking from like my teenage years up until my late 30s, I was struggling thinking this is normal. And I was just feeling sick all the time. And then finally, I got in touch with a naturopath who did a virtual session with me. She's in Fayetteville. And she was like, well, have you ever done a Dutch test? And I was like, no, I haven't heard of that before. She said, okay, I want you to do this Dutch test because, you know, those are testing good things, those blood tests, but it misses a lot. And so I did the Dutch test and come to find out that while she can't diagnose me with PCOS, my numbers are someone that has PCOS. And essentially like crazy high testosterone and estrogen without the markers showing that I have the means of metabolizing that. So basically an overproduction and no way of handling that overproduction. And so she put me on a program that has helped a lot. Definitely has not fixed everything, but at least it was more of an answer than like, oh, your blood panels look fine. It's all in your head.
Yeah, I've gone through that path like several times. Like I went to a naturopathic doctor, and I've done like several different treatment plans with him, and then even still like no treatment plan works. So I've tried a lot of different things. I've done the spit test. I've done like I mean, I'm not like losing hope or whatever, but like I just have to like learn to live with all these side effects.
I feel like it's a constant process of trying to figure things out and learn. And I've just kind of grown to accept that that's how it's going to be.
Well, did you know until 1993 it wasn't standard, or it was perfectly legal to, when you study a drug or do a study of any kind, to have only men as your people that you're studying. So all the drugs have, for the last however long that have been invented for only men until 1993.
It's so disappointing and frustrating. And it feels like it should be obvious that that's not a proper solution. And so how that was ever allowed to be is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it's wild. So, women's healthcare, not a happy place.
No. Or safety,
but you're not alone.
No.
What are you watching right now?
Girl, nothing. I'm busy. Oh, actually, I was trying to get some inspiration for my Halloween class. And so I've been watching some spooky movies. Practical Magic.
Oh, not yet. Why'd you do it already?
Okay, first of all, I will watch that movie any time of the year. But I needed some inspiration. What was the other one? Oh my gosh, I'm really terrible with name, you guys. Sleepy Hollow?
Oh.
With Christina Ricci?
I don't
Johnny
watch
Depp.
that one.
I think that's what it's called. It's about the Headless Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to stick to like 90s movies. That's been my vibe
Do you know what
lately.
we've been watching is Buffy and Charmed. Those are our spooky season.
I have never watched any of those.
If you're looking for like 90s fall like material, that's where you need to be.
Okay.
Is Buffy and Charmed. Start with Charmed. That's
Okay.
the one you're gonna like
I'm
better.
gonna actually write it down because I have to remember it.
However, I had a thought. You said Sleepy Hollow. Do you want to know a fun fact about me?
Yes.
When I was in theater club as a youth, I was in Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Do you know who I played?
Please say the Headless Horseman.
It was Ichabod Crane.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
So that is a fun fact about me is that I played Ichabod Crane in the early 2000s in my youth as in the theater club.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. That's the only lead role I've ever had was Ichabod Crane in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
That's impressive.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a play when I was a kid, probably like 7th grade. I played a nymph that turned into a tree. So you can imagine the skills that I came to that theater class
Were you
with.
also the tallest kid?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I took a huge growth spurt the summer I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
I grew 6 inches and I hit 5'10" that year.
If you've never met Angela in person, she's like the most beautiful, like goddess looking, like 6'2" beautiful.
Stop.
Like woman, like when she walks into the room, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to pay attention to this woman.
You're making me blush. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
And I only wish that when I get gray hair, it looks as cool as hers.
Thanks.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll have to post a picture of it for you guys.
If anybody out there is going gray or white, just rock it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I that's one thing that I don't understand about today's, like, I mean, I get it, but like I don't like it that like people our age are getting Botox and like stuff like that, because I feel like I would like to age, like what happened to aging normally?
I think people should do whatever makes them comfortable. That being said,
I'm on board with that too.
Yeah, that being said, I think there's something really special about embracing like natural parts of yourself. And I think when they say that like white or gray hair ages you, it's only because everybody dyes their hair. If we really understood how young people naturally gray.
Well, also, when did gray become like a bad thing, or like why is aging bad?
Yeah. I feel blessed to have made it this far.
Yeah, right.
Like truly, truly blessed. So I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. However, I also understand that I have good genetics. Like, people can't tell the difference between my sister and my mom. Like, so like I come from it with like a good genetics privilege, but like to me, I just like think if we all just like embraced it and said we don't need to like subscribe to typical beauty standards.
Oh yeah, it's rough out there.
Because it's all just like capitalistic too.
Very much so. It's a money-making industry, and how sad that there's an industry that makes money off of encouraging you to feel poorly about how you look.
Which, I mean, honestly, if you subscribe to that, like, no shade at all. Like, I'm not throwing shade. I just like, in general, as a society, like, everything is based on capitalism, and I just keep thinking about that. Did you listen to that part of the episode that I was talking about before, whenever I was like, I realized that mental health is based on capitalism?
Yeah.
I cannot stop thinking about that. I'm bringing it up again.
It's tough. I'm not a fan of capitalism at all. I could get on a total soapbox about that. And this is coming from somebody that owns multiple businesses. I think there's just a better way to do things. And, you know, I will say that even though I do love my hair, I was talking the other day about not dyeing my hair, but getting some like color depositing shampoo, like something that'll wash out in a month or two. And my partner was like, "No, I love your hair. Why do you want to cover up your hair? It's great." It's not that I don't like my hair all of a sudden. I just want something different.
Yeah, I feel that too. I get bored with things like, so I understand.
Yeah.
That urge too.
And it's so hot out here. I don't really wear a lot of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But before I moved out here, I would play around with makeup sometimes too. I'm never like a full beat face because I'm just way too sensitive for that. I would like start, you know, touching my face too much and like claw it off or something, and it would not look as nice. But like colorful eye makeup and stuff, I think would be really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could get down with that.
Yeah. Anyway, so capitalism is good for some things, but not good for healthcare or beauty products.
Yeah, and it's just certain things that make capitalism, like that taint capitalism, and kind of like take it too far.
Yeah,
like greed.
Yeah,
selfishness, things like that.
Yeah. Anyway, do you know the premise of the show Charmed?
No, tell me.
Listen, how do you not know about this?
Okay, so I don't know if we mentioned it last time I was on, but I come from not exactly the same, but similar of a background to Charli, in that I was raised in a very conservative household. And so there were many things that I was not allowed exposure to. And anything that had to do with like witchcraft. I remember my mom let me watch Little Mermaid, and she was seen as like a major rule breaker. Super taboo because there's a witch, the sea witch is in there, and there's magic and mythical creatures, and yeah,
that I don't understand, because I grew up with like religious extremists, but we watched Charmed at my house, we watched Stargate, we watched like ridiculous like fantasy shows. I think it's just because they like what they like. However, Charmed, okay. It is there are 3 sisters, right?
Okay.
And they inherit a house because their grandma dies.
Oh.
And then they find out that their grandma had bound their powers and that they're the most powerful witches in the world.
Slay.
And then they go and kill all the demons, and like they are the good guys.
Oh, okay. I could get down with that.
And it's like women power in the 90s in its like highest form.
Okay. I need to watch that for sure.
I can't believe you've never watched it before. It makes me want to pull up a trailer for it.
It's, as our friendship continues, you will continue to be shocked about the things that I have not experienced. I feel like I've done a really good job catching up, because there's a lot to catch up on, like movies, current events, all the, music.
Not only that, but we had the disadvantage of being homeschooled too. So we already had so much to catch up on.
Right. Homeschooled, and I lived in a small town.
I lived in a small town too.
Yeah. So that's okay. We made it.
Last night we watched a documentary on Netflix about the Boy Scouts. Have you heard about this?
Oh no.
It's like about it's very sad.
Oh.
But it's about like
it's like that doesn't sound like a positive thing.
It's very sad. Okay. It's about like sexual abuse in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to see, because I think he was an actively serving lawyer of the Boy Scouts that was representing the other side, and it was just like so wild to see how he fielded the questions. But it feels very similar to the same way that people who like high demand religions and stuff field questions like that. So that's why that made me think of that, because we both were raised in that kind of a culture.
It's an intense world. And I feel like when you're outside looking in, it's hard to describe the difference in perspective than when you're in it.
Well, because I also watched about that like How to Become a Cult Leader on Netflix. Did you see that one?
No.
It was bad. I don't recommend it, but like there was a lady on there that talked about like how like if you think that you're not going to be in a cult, that's the kind of person that they're going to go for. And so like any person can be in a cult, like, and you're going to be targeted more because you think you can't.
Huh.
So I think that I totally understand where those people are coming from because I've subscribed to that lifestyle before.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think in my head, I always imagined people that get involved in cults are people, and this is no shame to these people that just really desire a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with gangs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you become part of something outside of yourself, and having the energy of those other people that are also part of that same thing. And I imagine that becomes very addicting.
I think it goes back to capitalist society, man. Because, like, in capitalist society, we all have our own houses. We all, like, are working towards, like, being our own selves and, like, having our own stuff and doing all this thing instead of focusing on, like, building a community. Which is why one day I'm going to start a commune.
You're so dead set on this. I love it. I know one day I'm going to get the call and she's like, okay, so imagine this. We make pizza oven potatoes every Thursday. Like, I'm sold. I'm in. Where do I sign?
But really, I think that's the way humans were meant to, like, be, as part of a community, and like constantly being, not necessarily constantly being a part of a community, but like having interactions with other humans all the time, and along with not just capitalism but also technology, it takes away the element of communication and like joining and bonding that like our historical ancestors had.
Well, I think the vibe of what it means to be a close-knit community has changed over time. And you know, like the old saying, it takes a village. Mm-hmm. I've only seen that play out well in a couple of my friends that have like young children, where I see, oh, they really do have a true village where someone, you know, will step in seamlessly at any moment to help when help is needed, and you know, they do the same for the others. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that, where they feel like they're supported and they can support, you know, an equal. And we're missing that.
The part that like kills it all, like for cults, is there's just zero consent. Like once your consent gets taken away,
consent's important.
But like if you're 100% consenting, like then you have a reason to like be there, and it's not like as like you're not being forced to be there or anything, you know, like that's when the consent gets taken away. Like in Jonestown, they like had guards that you couldn't leave, and that's why and then whenever somebody got in, that's when everybody died. You know about Jonestown, right?
Probably.
I get the one.
I'll be 100%. I get them confused.
Jonestown,
like I mix them up.
Is the one where they like took everybody to Mexico, and then somebody came in, and then he made them do a forced suicide altogether with the Kool-Aid. That's where drinking the Kool-Aid comes from.
Kool-Aid thing. Yeah. Okay. I don't know as much about that. I have watched a couple other documentaries about other cults. I agree with what you're saying to the extent of consent, because consent is important, and a lot of these cults, when it gets to its peak where it's like of bad, that consent is taken away. But the other common thread is just craziness. Like this, like even if you consent to some of that stuff, you should probably not be consenting to it. So if you are consenting to it, it's because you're not in a healthy place, and that's like a whole separate thing. So yes, consent's important. But also, you know, like maybe don't starve yourself, or, you know, go through torture rituals. And like, even if you are consenting, like I think therapists out there would agree with me. And again, I'm not a mental therapist, so I can't really say, but I feel like they would agree that, you know, maybe that should have a second look. Like maybe that's not a good idea. That's not a healthy coping mechanism, if you are consenting to bodily harm.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But
it's got to be, well, like that goes to the theory of like, just because something is effective does not mean that it's healthy. Yeah. So like oftentimes like people will confuse that and think that I'm doing something healthy, like self-harm for example. Self-harm is an extremely effective coping mechanism, because what you do, like most people who self-harm, they will do it because their emotions are felt so strongly that the only way that they can distract from those emotions is by feeling physical pain.
So it's like a chemical release.
Yeah, it's a process addiction is what it is. And so like that is why it's an extremely effective coping skill. However, it is not healthy.
No, not at all.
So it's like it could be viewed the same as like substance abuse in that way, as it like distracts you and it pulls you out of whatever emotion you're feeling. However, it hurts you in the long run.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. So like in cults where like it could be very effective, but it's not healthy.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's where the important start and stop of consent comes into play. So same page. High five.
Yeah. So we're starting a cult, right?
Can I sell my syrup at the cult? Just kidding. Okay, so it's September officially. What are you gonna do for the fall season?
We go. I really enjoy going to haunted houses with Colton because he has a genetic condition where he is blind at night.
What?
So he's blind, and he's progressively going blinder and blinder.
Okay.
However, because of a genetic condition, so he can't see in dark spaces.
Interesting.
At all. So it's the best to go to a haunted house with a blind guy, because you put him in the front, and then all of the jump scares come out, and he can't see them.
Oh no. So
last year when we went to a haunted house, there was like a part of a car that you had to like crawl through the car. And the guy, there's like just a guy there screaming at you to go through the car. And then Colton was in the front and he couldn't see, so he tried to climb on top. And the guy goes, "Go through the car!" And I was like, "Dude, he's blind. He can't see that there's a car here. Just hang on a second." And I like helped him through the car or whatever. But then like all of the jump scares went out in front of us and we didn't have to worry about any of it. So
have you gone to a haunted house out here yet?
Yeah, that's where we went.
Oh, it was out here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the one like out on the highway.
Oh. Okay, but the ghost ship.
No.
On 412?
Yeah.
You turn by the ghost ship.
There's a ghost ship? I don't know about the ghost ship.
I wonder if it's still there.
I don't know, but I do know that place is out on that highway.
Okay. Cool. I'm down to go. I've been to 2 haunted houses before. It was the same production that I went 2 years in a row. And it was fun. The second time, it was fun to just go through and see how they did the sets and stuff. I didn't particularly get scared. The first time I went, I was with work friends. And we were moseying on through. I was in the back, which I will not do again. And same thing. I was kind of just, like, I really like the artsy stuff. So the artistic talent that goes into like coming up with these different scenes and, you know, making things look really authentic, I think is really, really cool. And so I was really just absorbing it all and kind of checking it out. And there was one point where we were walking down this like long corridor and I heard this weird noise and I turn around and there was like a really short man dressed in a clown costume.
Oh no.
Sprinting towards me.
No.
Laughing this like very creepy laugh. Like he played his part well. With a knife.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm not proud to say I made a noise I didn't know I was capable of making. I'm not afraid of clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like smaller, people smaller than me doesn't creep me out. Like nothing. But there was something about in that moment. It was like very unexpected. It didn't fit the scene that we were in because it was more of like a mine shaft situation.
Mm-hmm.
So to have this like primary color, brightly colored clown costume come sprinting
it alerted
towards
you in a way that you didn't know.
I did not know. And then I started laughing.
Oh, no.
Because, I don't know, like just a natural response. So it was like this weird scream and then just laughing. And my friends were looking at me like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? And then once they realized what was going on, they started laughing. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where the clown went.
I always
disappeared.
I always freeze. And Colton has to lift me up and carry me out because I will freeze and then I will make the wrong decision. Like, you know how the people, they like point you in a direction, like you go to this like creepy bed that has blood all over it or whatever. Like it's part of the show. Well, I'll like actually walk towards the bed because I don't make good decisions when I'm in that state.
Oh, okay.
However, your story did remind me of the first time I went over to Colton's house when we were dating. Have I told you this story?
I don't think so. So
Colton had a roommate, and this roommate is very like farmer kind of a guy. He grew up like in the backwoods, and he not the backwoods, I guess, but like he just like very homesteady kind of a lifestyle is how he grew up. And so I had never met this person before, and it was my first time ever going over to Colton's house when we were dating. And it was spooky time. We went on our first date to a haunted house. Did you know that?
Cute.
Yeah. It was a genius idea. It was my idea. However, so it was spooky time, and I'm at Colton's house for the first time, and his roommate, like Colton goes to the bathroom, and his roommate walks in from the garage. He's covered in blood with a bloody meat cleaver.
No.
And I was just like, what?
Mm-mm.
And I'm alone. Because Colton's in the bathroom, and I was like, hello?
Nope.
And he was like, he didn't say anything, he just laughed.
That's a big no for me.
And I was like, what the heck? And the dude, he was trying to freak me out.
Yeah.
And he's actually really nice. But as my first impression, and then Colton walks in, he's like, stop being creepy, dude. It turns out that he had raised some ducks, and he was slaughtering the ducks for the food. And he had just come in from that, so...
That's wild.
Yeah, but I mean, so that was the first time I met
Colton would have come out and I would have been gone. He's lucky you freeze.
So yeah, I just freeze and I'm like, what? And I just make wild decisions that don't make sense.
So that was a time that you could have been on Dateline, but instead it was just a funny moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
there's several moments of my life that are like that. 10 years later, still in love.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we need to go to a haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I have not done out here yet that I think we should do together is... Okay, I'll just list them off. Mm-hmm. Pumpkin patch.
Okay.
Corn maze.
Yep.
Costume party.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm really, really bad at this. Every year I'm like, oh, I know the perfect costume. This is going to be so much fun. And then it's like I lose sight of it. And then the next thing I know, Halloween is tomorrow. And I have to throw something together. I will say last year I ended up having some girls over. And we were just going to hand out candy. And we ended up going with like a woodland theme.
Okay.
And so everybody just came in whatever they wanted to interpret that is. So... I dressed up as like a woodland witch, and then we had a fox and a bunny rabbit. Yeah, those little woodland creatures,
like Snow White.
Yeah. And the thought was that we wanted to kind of hang out at the house because kids coming, but we only got like 3 kids on my street, so
yeah, kids aren't trick or treating anymore.
So I don't know. This year I might just turn all the lights off and plan something else. I'm not sure, but the year before that. My nephew dressed up as, and I'm going to butcher the names, so I'll just try to describe it. He was obsessed with Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. So he was the doctor with the like chambray shirt and the tan hat and like the red. Okay. And then I had ordered, because I was so excited in my, cool aunt mind. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. I ordered one of those inflatable T-Rex.
Of course you did.
Costumes. And then it got there the day before Halloween and it was broken. I was like, man, totally had this. Like,
rude.
And the worst part was, because I got it, I told my sisters, like, okay, tell him I have a surprise for him.
Oh, no.
So I was like, shoot. So then I ended up being the other character. Again, do not remember his name, but he's like the cool guy that has like the leather jacket.
The Jeff Goldblum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I love Jeff Goldblum.
I love Jeff Goldblum too.
I dressed up as that character.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the sunglasses and I had a leather jacket and like I put on all black and my boots. And I came out and he was pretty juiced. So I walked around with him trick-or-treating for that.
Last year, I dressed up as Captain Marvel because I just like put like a 9 Inch Nails logo or whatever on a shirt, and then like had a baseball cap and a leather jacket.
Cute.
That's what I did. Just because I'm a professional, so I have to actually like look like I'm a professional, but also at the same time, it's Halloween.
Yeah, I'm so envious of people that get really creative with their costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I think of that?
This year I kind of thought maybe we could be a pilot and a flight attendant.
Cute.
Yeah.
Do you guys like to do couple costumes?
Colton does not dress up. It makes me very upset. He will not. It is like nearly impossible to find him.
The Office, but you're not a fan.
No. Yeah. You can reference it because everybody else who listens is a fan.
Well, I was just thinking about Jim's 3-hole punch costume.
Okay.
He's 3-hole. He just cut out 3 black circles and put them on his white shirt. So the 3-hole punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think even that would be a fight with Colton. It is very hard to find something he will consent to dress up in. My best idea and the best thing a couple costume I've ever had, and it was before it was popular, is Jake from State Farm and Flo.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good one.
Because there can't be any makeup involved. Has to be somewhat normal clothes for him to consent. So I was like, maybe I could convince him to wear like a black skinny tie and a collared shirt, and then I could wear like a flight attendant looking uniform.
You should go as the Men in Black. Just wear a suit.
I thought it would be funny because Colton has a very specific look. He buys one shirt and he just like buys it in every single color. And then he also wears like tan cargo shorts or jeans. Like they're all like separate pairs of clothes, but every single one of them is exactly the same. So I thought, how funny would it be if I dressed up as Colton?
That would be cute.
Right? Because it would be very easy. All I would have to do is just buy the stuff he buys.
You'd have to get a wig.
Yeah.
And shave it down real short. And a beard.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be cute. Yeah, and then he wouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he could just be himself.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good idea.
But that's all I got. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think. I haven't given it any thought, but I probably should.
I think you should like be Wonder Woman.
Oh, I love Wonder Woman. When I was I had like a Wonder Woman outfit when I was little. Like it's a very 80s style, but I wore that thing everywhere. Because it was one of those type of costumes where you could put it on over your other clothes. Because it was a cape with just like a little bib, kind of like an apron, but with a cape. And it was all Velcro, so I would put it
like
over
a
my
smock.
Kind of, yeah. With like the little, but all the colors were very Wonder Woman. And so I would just put it over my regular clothes and wear it everywhere. And my mom indulged me.
Kids these days are getting such cooler costumes than we ever got.
Yeah. But I will say, my costume was like cotton, like a thick cotton.
Did you grow up somewhere cold?
No.
Oh.
San Luis Obispo County.
Hey.
No, I was like coastal, central coast of California.
So you didn't have to worry about like putting on jackets and stuff.
No, looking back, again, because of, my parents, we went to harvest festivals. We didn't do trick-or-treating.
I see.
So a lot of it was inside, like inside the church.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really need to bundle up, but I noticed, like if I was a kitty cat or something, I would have leggings on and like a turtleneck. So maybe a little chill in the air, but nothing crazy.
Fancy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, my most favorite memories from Halloween from my youth was going to the amusement park Halloween things.
Oh,
those were my favorite.
I bet those were fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever done an
And
amusement
the library Halloween party.
Nerd.
But listen, the library Halloween party was lit.
I bet.
We had bobbing for apples. Who actually gets to bob for apples? Nobody. But the library kids did. And then they read us scary stories. And we played, what is that? Where the chairs? Musical chairs.
Classic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then whenever I worked at the library, I was I was in charge of planning the party. And then, look what I do now. I plan parties.
Yep. It was in the stars.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway.
Very cool.
That seems like a pretty good stopping point. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. I was going off like crazy.
Kind of jumped all over the place.
Welcome to my brain. So we're gonna have a party, a Dutch oven, potato, campfire party. If you have suggestions, let us know. We will do them.
We'll make that happen.
If you want to come, let me know. I'll send you an invite. Okay, have a wonderful week. Thank you for coming to our sleepover.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We always love having you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, love you. Bye.
Bye.